So hi, thanks a lot for having me. It's great fun to be here. Although I know it's quite of a tricky time spot, right? Because I know I'm standing between you and your lunch. And even worse, sorry for that, I have to show you some of the most beautiful pictures of nice meals, nice food. Looks tasty, right? There's one question which unites us all and which we have to answer every single day, and that is, what is for lunch, what's for dinner, what's next on the table? Gladly today we get this answered in a few minutes, but that's a constant question in every household, I think. Hi, I'm Stefan, and I'm pleased to work with teams who find a part of the answer to that, and that is with Vorwerk Thermomix. By the raise of hands, who of you knows Thermomix? Has heard about Thermomix? That's quite a few. And who even has one at home in the kitchen? Also quite a few. So if you want to know the details about the machine, ask your neighbor left or right. They will give you some insights, I think. It was a safe bet to see some hands because right now we have 20 million of Thermomixes in the market. And to give you an introduction to our current model, let me give you a sneak peek. So that sounds so much better than on my notebook speaker, I have to say. So that's our new flagship model, our TM7. We just released it a few weeks ago, so our first customers have it now in their hands, and we brought it to the public on Valentine's Day this year. So but if you're asking, why are we here talking about such a product on the Qt stage? Well, as you can see, the Thermomix is fully digitized. It's digitized since the version TM5 from 2014, when we introduced guided cooking. So, as Chris said, a frictionless experience where you are told step by step what to do next. And whenever you go through the guided cooking recipes, you will get a perfect meal on the table for your family. And so, when we started off the journey with TM7, we knew we had to bring it to the next level, to bring the customer experience to an ever better point. And back then, 2014, the first customers and our salespeople were asking who wants to cook on a laptop, right? And who wants to have it digitized. But it turns out millions of people do every single day, and it's a great success. But getting to that next level, we set out on choosing the right framework, and we heard today that Qt is turning 30. And that is, of course, also part of the story. We only have it now since 3 to 4 years that we are evaluating deeply and integrating with that. But one of the crucial aspects for us was, if you buy a machine today, which sits in your kitchen, in your daily use, we want to have it supported on a long way, and also with Qt 6, and the Qt 5 journey, they proved to make a long-term commitment also to the platform. Furthermore, we wanted to build up on a framework where we could concentrate on the slide which is missing, where we would concentrate on the cooking functionality and where we put our effort and focus into the cooking experience, steering the machine and getting the most out of it what it can do. We started prototyping very, very early on because the previous models featured a knob where you can physically adjust temperature, speed, and this is now all transferred to the all touchscreen interface. I have to admit I was a very big skeptic in the first moments when we discussed to leave out the knob, because we needed a touchscreen interface which works with greasy hands, with oily hands, when flour is in the whole kitchen. And so we did a gazillion of iterations, hardware and software-wise, to come up with the most intuitive user experience that we could provide to our customers. So by now, you may have noticed that we show the bowl of Thermomix also on the screen. It's a digital twin, which not only reflects the current state, because hopefully you can still see whether the bowl is on or not, but it also shows you what the next action is and what the next interaction is. And here we have quite a few of these scenarios, and one of the biggest is scaling ingredients. You can imagine if you make a recipe, you have to weigh in all your lemon juice, sugar, whatever it is, and we have a gram precision scale, precision to the gram, and we also illustrate once you have the right filling level and when you can proceed with the next step. Let me show it to you in a small animation. So we are even ticking off once we reached the right amount of ingredients. You can go to the next step. And the digital twin always shows you what to do next. So basically, if you have to place a lid in order to cook, that's not always the case, but if you have to place a lid, it tells you. And also reflects if the lid is currently locked or unlocked. So if you can take a peek into the bowl or not, that's all reflected in the digital twin. We have a lot of these scenarios where we show the interactivity of the recipe and the bowl handling. And here is where the teams joined forces and where we made our teams work in parallel on these different streams. So our user experience colleagues did an amazing job in making the prototyping of the UI, interacting with the developers who built the underlying business logic and interfaces. I think that the UX colleagues will like a lot that there's a Figma bridge announced today, so that is definitely something that they will use in the future, I assume. But here they also use Qt Design Studio to build the state machine of the bowl and to iterate over that, while in parallel, the other teams who were more concentrating on the guided cooking experience were able to develop the program logic. For us, it was very important to build a lasting platform with TM7. We are just at the beginning, and it will evolve over the next couple of years. That's one reason why we chose Qt Application Manager and really separated our logic into different apps. So if you look at Thermomix, there are different apps running. It's our main navigation, the home screen. But there's a separate app responsible for the search, one for your organization of recipes, the other one for the cooking that you saw previously. And the beauty is that we have one vertical team which owns the experience on all the touch points, so that we have a coherent experience on our mobile devices, in web, and of course on TM7. And also not to forget, also on TM6, which is used by millions of people a day, so that we also didn't start from a greenfield approach, but also had to integrate the existing customer base. So there could be quite a debate whether it's good to have vertical teams who integrate deep in their domain knowledge, or whether you have rather front-end teams working front ends. I also heard this in the Siemens talk, that there are pros and cons. Maybe it fills also a talk on its own. But for us, it worked out quite well. The other example is organizing your recipes. So basically, you can imagine sitting in the train in the morning, searching for what could be for dinner, organizing it, plan it to your week, or bookmark the recipe. And of course, that's also reflected on TM7. And also here, the team responsible for this experience owns it on every single touch point. Where this comes in particular to an importance is when we speak about our cooking modes, so the way the machine is steered and the machine is acting. We have a specialized pre-clean mode, where depending on what you did before, whether you did the dough, whether you had some browning beforehand, where you can choose the best method to clean the bowl. And before I learned that a few years back, I never would have imagined how much engineering power can go into something like developing the right speed and rotation of the right amount of water and detergent to get the bowl clean. And the beauty of having these cooking modes, or cleaning modes in this case, as a separate application allows us that the experts on cooking behavior, on the motor behavior, are developing their apps very autonomously and integrated at a later stage for the overall system. So we are verticalizing here a lot. I liked it so much in the Siemens talk to also hear that it's all about organization. And that was also a journey where we embarked on, as we have an existing platform, to bring also the teams to working with Qt. It was also quite a challenge, I have to admit, that from now on, a domain team, which so far only knew iOS development, Android development, and web development, also embarked on the journey to develop for Qt. It was a learning curve, but what it allowed us to do is, for example, in the tutorials and help section, to have one team which is responsible end-to-end for every single touch point. The designers design the experience of how the tutorials should look like, and also own it on the mobile touch point, in the web touch point, and on the device touch point. Some of you may say, why don't you use Qt everywhere? That's, I think, very much also due to our brownfield approach that we started from a very big customer base already and from a very big installation base. And that allows us also to transfer functionalities step by step into that new generation. So another example is our weekly planner, where you can, as I said, if you invite guests for Sunday and you want to already organize with your family what to cook, what to prepare, you use our weekly planner. And also this experience is owned on mobile and on the device by the same team. They make sure that the synchronization is happening at the right point in time. And there was one addition that we made, and that was bring them also to the home screen. So we had a discussion yesterday with the team to not call it widget for reasons, right? So that's not a Qt widget, but it's a widget on our customizable home screen. So depending on how you interact with the TM7, whether you really like to pre-plan or whether you're more the one who gets inspired by recipes, you can customize what you want to see there on the screen. In our family, it's typically that we plan, and whoever starts the device knows what to cook next, and here we go. As I said, that's the starting point of where we want to go. That's what we're cooking right now. And if you say, well, that was a lot of images, a lot of spaghetti, but what about the code? And what about the architecture diagrams behind it? We also get you covered. I can highly recommend to visit the talk from Cemek tomorrow, where you will also see a tech deep dive. And now, to be very conscious of time and your hunger and your need for food, I say bon appetit and enjoy your day.